Afternoon, guys. Let's talk about yesterday's New Amsterdam. So, I really don't want to say that they jumped the shark on this because I really don't know. I want y'all to tell me that have been afflicted with this. So, Dr. Max started his chemo, and he's the type of guy that doesn't stop. Well, at one point they showed him going with another doctor talking, and he had his IV with him doing his chemo. To me, that didn't seem so true to me. But like I said, I don't know. You guys that have had cancer, can you help me with that? Because I just don't know. I mean, yeah, I do. When I'm sick, I power through it. Even when I've got my shunt messing up, which I'll get to that in a later vlog. But cancer or chemo, from what I've heard, really kicks your butt and can put you down. So I didn't know if that just was show drama or not. Another thing that went on was that lady, that Dr. Helen was tailing Dr. Laura because Dr. Laura had been abusing her Adderall to keep herself going. And she confided in Dr. Helen, and so she kind of was discreetly tailing her throughout the episode until she got busted. And so, but I don't know if I fault her, Dr. Helen, for doing so, because in previous episodes, Dr. Laura screwed up pretty bad, and she's been bailed out quite a few times. So, which could have killed a patient. You know, we're talking malpractice. That's not something you want to get into. Malpractice insurance, from what I've heard my folks say, is pretty damn high. So it's just not something you want to get tangled up in. In another subplot, Dr. Floyd was doing getting interviewed by a reporter, and she dug up an old mugshot, which she grilled him on, and he thought it was buried. It happened when he was still in residency, and he did what he did, and he thought it would go away. Well, anybody knows that what's on the internet does not go away. It just doesn't. Yeah, I can dig up crap that should have been disappeared long ago. So, but I gotta give him credit, because he could have really been in deep crap, because he's a cardiologist. He was the only cardiologist that Dr. Max kept when he took the head of the hospital position. So he stepped up and he told them the whole story with the journalists there. So everybody was on the same page. Nothing was in the dark. So I've got to give him props for that. It takes a big person, man or woman, to admit what you've done and take the fallout that comes with it, because he could have lost his job and his livelihood, his license, and his reputation would have been shot to shit. Okay? So, and that rings true for the real world. I've done stuff that I'm not proud of. I've been in trouble with the law when, after Noe died, I was really rebellious. I think I've told you that, and morbidity is a bitch. So, and yes, I had to go through teen court. I spent my spring break cleaning handlebars at one of the old folks' homes, and I had to do not only community service, but I had to do jury duty and essentially hand down sentences to other kids that had screwed up. Not to mention, I was a minor, so I had to tell my folks what I had done, which was embarrassing as hell. But I did it, and I'm not proud of it, but I'm not going to shy away from it for the reason of hopefully teaching other people what not to do with. And so I've got to give Dr. Floyd the props for that. Now, going back to Dr. Max, in previous episodes, he had said he did not want to be a patient, and I totally understand that. Nobody wants to be laid up in the hospital for whatever the reason. My track record for my shunt revisions is 3 days. And you're like, well, God, Jay, that, anybody that has a shunt knows that you get your head cut open and get a tube put in your head, and it goes down to your abdomen. Yeah, but that's the point. The thing is, the headaches before, when the shunt's screwing up, are infinitely worse. Think of a migraine that nothing will touch, and then you go through the surgery, and my track record is, after the surgery, I have 1 round of pain medication, and that's it, because the pain after the surgery is nothing. If I had my way, I'd be leaving and going back to work or doing whatever. That's the difference between the pain. So I completely can relate to Dr. Max. Now, and I'm not saying that my shunts or anything compared to cancer, because I could conceivably die during that surgery, but it wouldn't be as drawn out as chemo apparently can be. And I want you guys to tell me, because, like I said, I don't know. And with us talking about ourselves, we only can do it from our perspective. We want to know about y'all's sicknesses, whether it be deaf, blind, depression, anxiety, pain management, because I know there's a stigma with pain management that everybody winds up being junkies and whatnot. And I know that's not true. And we want to know all that stuff. So, yeah, this one wanted to be a twofer because it related to me as somebody that has been in hospitals in and out since I was an infant for short revisions. I can't even begin to tell you how many I've had. So, but going back to New Amsterdam, by the end of the episode, Dr. Max accepts that he needs to slow down and he needs to take time for himself, and he needs to be a patient. And he goes in with his little furry slippers and his bathrobe and his IV, and he goes in with all the other cancer patients, and they're playing cards, and they deal him in, and I believe they deal in another person who had died, but out of respect, they deal him in anyways. So he gets to see how the other side of the coin is. And he's already a very caring person, so I can see him being even that more caring when he gets done. And that's what I took away from the show. And I take that into my real life because I can be jaded and I can be cynical, and I don't like that about myself. So I'm going to leave you guys with that thought of making myself better, to put myself in other people's shoes. And I want you guys to, if you want to, leave comments and tell me what you thought and what you thought about what I said about powering through chemo and just going about your day, especially him walking around with his IV and just doing. And be good to each other, and as always, we love you, and don't be strangers.